Good day, doctor and my dear friends. My name is Divya Darshini, daughter of Sivakumar, and my metric number is 272470. Today, I'm going to presenting on case study 3, which is the smell, taste, and touch of the money and accounting policy decision. Okay, now we will look on the executive summary of this case. MIM is a subsidiary company wholly controlled by the parent company, which is UPC Berhad. MIM is a special purpose entity, which is SPE, that was established on January 18, 2009 under the original name MIM Berhad. Okay, Ariana is the accountant of MIM Holding, which is the key protagonist. So the main business of MIM is involved in film production, training, consultancy service, investment holding, and managing national service training program. So the MIM has a subsidiary which involves the diverse activities. So in 2017, MIM acquired an investment as it looked like a golden opportunity that might help MIM to achieve its objective, earn more income to UPC. So MIM financed through mixed finance, which obtained 40 million from Islamic Bank and injection of fund of 18 million by parent to acquire the investment. So in 2017, the injection fund was initially recognized as equity. However, it's recorded as a debt under the current liability. But the major problem facing by MIM Holding is whether the able to redeem the debt and whether the company's solvency would be affected by a result of its recognition of debt. Since the injection of fund was recorded under current liability rather than the equity, it's lead to solvency issue of MIM as the company needs to prove its solvency by providing a solvency report under Section 72, subsection 6 of Company Act 2016 to redeem the RCCP. Since the main issue are interrelated with other issue, the recommended solution for overcome this issue is conducting the solvency test by calculating the solvency ratio, because the MIM Holding would only know whether they're able to redeem the long-term debt and become solvent by analyzing and measuring the liquidity using the solvency ratio formulas such as debt to asset and debt to equity ratio. Hence, the solvency issue is in relation to the long-term debt of MIM Holding and could be resolved by Ariana and the accountant of adopting by the recommendation solution, which is by conducting the solvency test and calculate the solvency ratio. So that's all. Now let us look on the problem statement. So the first problem arises in this case is where the parent company UPC exercise excessive power and control over the subsidiary company, which is MIM. So in 2017, a new investment opportunity outside the Klang Valley arose which benefit MIM to achieve its objective by generating more income to UPC. So UPC aggressively push and control over MIM in acquiring the investment, because acquiring the investment appeared to be a golden opportunity since the selling price of investment was attractive and below its fair value. So UPC influenced MIM decision making in acquiring the investment, because this investment opportunity could be the benefit for MIM to achieve their objective in generating more income to UPC. So since MIM is a special purpose entity, it is a great advantage for them to overpower the MIM. So the second issue is the fund treatment of 18 million, whether it should be treated as a debt or equity. So this issue started when the fund had flow in MIM in 2017 amounted 18 million and had been utilized for the investment. So when the cash flow, Aryan feels that the investment could proceed because her cash pump by the parent was supported by the subsidiary performance and generate future income to the parent. So the external auditor of MIM, which is MJ Associate, had then advised her that the fund should be recognized as equity since the UPC is a parent of MIM. But eventually, UPC used a different external auditor of financial statement which is a GA and Associate. So they have told that from their viewpoint, it should be treated differently because they told Ariana that I failed to see why this is considered as equity. It's look, smell, and feel like a debt. So you should pay the UPC. It's an obligation. So finally, they recognize it as a fund of a debt. Okay, the third issue is when the company secretarial of MIM did not perform well their duties. Okay, the injection of a fund amounting 18 million as a current liability should be termed as a redeemable convertible cumulative preference share, which is RCCP. Supposedly, in the original article of Constitution of MIA, they do not record equity other than the ordinary share. But in this case, they issue preference share. Actually, in this stage, the company secretary should inform and advise a board of director, which is MIM, but they don't do so. So this showed that the company did not follow its constitution in issuing the fund of RCCP. So the company secretarial should redraw the MIM constitution by incorporating the preference share in a class of shares. So, however, the redemption of preference share occur in the company. They need to prove its solvency by providing a solvency report under section 72 subsection 6 of Company Act 2016. So that's all for problem. Okay, now let us look on the causes for the problem. So the first causes for the first issue is parent company own 100% of subsidiary company. So in accordance with MFRS 10, UPC has a power and control over MIM if the company has existing rights to direct the relevant activities that has been significant impact to the MIM return. So its exposure rights are variable from its involvement with MIM and the ability to use its power over MIM and affect the amount of UPC return. However, UPC used this excessive power over MIM to acquire the investment for its own benefit, although MIM has an insufficient cash flow to acquire it. So this investment decision was fully made by UPC without any involvement of MIM in this process. This is because the investment opportunity benefits MIM to achieve its objective in generating more income for UPC. So it's clearly shown that UPC was not exercising its power over MIM in compliance with MFRS 10. So moreover, MIM is a special purpose entity which is set up to generate income for the UPC. So according to IC interpretation 112 consideration, the special purpose entity paragraph 10 entity has decision making powers to obtain the majority of the benefit from the activities of special purpose entity or by set up an autopilot. So autopilot is a mechanism that the entity was denied this decision making power. So hence this advantage is one of the most significant opportunity for the UPC company to use over its MIM company until it brings the MIM company to insolvent issue. So the second causes for the second issue is the different opinion between both external auditor. So the external auditor of UPC saw that the fund differently from what it has been recognized. So parent refused about not to recognize the injection of fund as an additional capital contribution. Moreover, they wanted to reduce the financial dependency of the MIM on the parent, and the board of director of UPC was only willing to offer short-term financing agreement to MIM, and they believed that MIM could pay back the injection of from the return of investment return. So, but in this case, MIM was divested because now only they recognized not only 40 million from the Islamic bank loan, but also have an additional liability of 18 million loan, and it is a leverage, and the leverage is impacted now. So the third causes for the third issue is no compliance towards Company Act 2016 by MIM. So MIM was not complying with Company Act 2016 since it is issued to redeem the preference share of the injected fund, which was not stated in MIM constitution. But according to Company Act 2016, in section 90 subsection 1 and in paragraph 4, it's prescribed that no company shall allot and preference share or convert any issued share to the preference share unless provided by the constitution and the constitution profit. So from this we can see that as per the explanation of the section, it's clearly indicate that MIM is not only allowed the issuing preference share, as the original article of constitution MIM only provided for the ordinary share but not for the preference share. So as the company secretary, she should always look over the Company Act 2016 and perform their duty properly, and to ensure whether or not the director of the company should comply with the article of association and corporate and other related registration. So the redemption of preference share occur in this company should prove its solvency test under Company Act 2016. Okay, now let us look on the decision criteria and alternative solution. So for the first alternative solution for the issue 1 is the UPC should comply with MFRS 10 in exercising its power and control. When they engaging with MIM, one of the power of parent company was set under MFRS 10 is the parent company is exposed to variable returns from the involvement with the subsidiary. Therefore, UPC should involve MIM in the decision-making process so that the MIM might give their opinion in acquiring the investment. So this is to avoid UPC from exercising excessive of power and control over MIM. So this will avoid MIM for giving a complex group of structure and information flows, and reduce the conflict arising from the parent company to the subsidiary company. Okay, so the next one is alternative solution for the issue 2. So the first solution is the fund should be treated as an equity. This is because a financial instrument in an equity instrument only if the instrument included no contractual obligation to deliver cash or other financial asset to another entity if the instrument will be or may be settled in the issuer's on own equity instrument, either or non-derivative that include no contractual obligation for the issuer to deliver a variable number of own equity instrument or derivative that will be settled by the issuer in engaging a fixed amount of cash and another financial asset for a number of own equity instrument. So the second alternative solution for the issue 2 is issue 2 is should recognize the injection of fund as a fund of liability. So based on ISA 32, financial instrument should be presented in an established principle for distinguish the financial liability from equity instrument. So it applies to the classification of a financial instrument as a financial asset, instrument financial liability, or equity instrument. So for the third issue, the first alternative solution is they should conduct a solvency test by calculating the solvency ratio. So to overcome the solvency issues of MIM Holdings, Anya, of the accountant of the company, should conduct the solvency test by calculating the solvency ratio. So a solvency ratio is the one measure used to determine whether the business can remain for the long run or wrong line or not. So this ratio analysis of debt to asset ratio and debt to equity ratio, where the debt to asset ratio is the ratio between the total liability and the total asset of the company, while the debt to equity ratio is the total debt and total equity of the company. So Anya should calculate the debt asset ratio to measure the MIM asset financial by liabilities debt rather than equity, and debt to equity ratio to adjust the proportions of MIM asset financed by the debt and the shareholder equity, and to evaluate the ratio of the results assessed by the MIM solvency risk. Okay, now let us look on the recommendation part. So the first recommendation solution for the first issue, which is issue control power of the UPC toward MIM. So they should follow the MFRS stance, which is consolidated of financial statement. This is because as a parent company, UPC would have the power over MIM. For example, UPC has the existing rights to give the ability to direct the relevant activity which is significantly affect the MIM returns. So next, UPC Berhad has exposed the rights and variable returns from the involvement of MIM and the ability to use its power over the MIM to affect the number of UPC returns. So based on the second solution for the second issue, the recommended solution is recognize the injection of fund of 18 million as a liability. So the fund should be recognized as liability because every fund of self-balancing collection of account, because as a result the amount owed to others fund typically a result of inter-fund loan or inter-fund service used to provide between funds. For example, one fund may take a loan for another fund, or another fund may provide service to another without receiving the payment at the time of service or rendered. Okay, finally, the recommended solution for the last issue is by running a financial ratio analysis, which is the solvency ratio. So the audit community of MIM Holding should be aware the company activities by implementing the quick ratio to make sure the company can stay still in the industry, because the ratio can be used to measure the company growth through its acquire the asset over time. So based on the debt and debt ratio, it has been calculated that the MIM Holdings have 0.8% for 2019, 0.77 for 2018, and 0.70 for 2019. So it is been clearly see that the higher the leverage, the financial risk also will be higher. So MIM Holding have a higher leverage and the financial risk with this calculation. So it can help the MIM Holding to have the clear picture of their company solvency. So here I have attached the proof of the solvency ratio calculation below. So that's all. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.